Lots of areas were mentioned, but the residents are saying they can't move because the government hasn't given them any form of support. A few of them said a few years ago when the flood came and they moved, only for the government to give them gari, give them a little, I think 2.7 measurement of foam, and told them that they were going to support. Some said that they have been trying to get their representatives to attend to them in those areas, but they've gone to the offices several times. Nobody has attended to them. So you can't tell us to move where we don't have money. We don't to stay there in the flood. That there's something they do. They usually find a way to leave the house. When the flood is over, they come back. But for them to relocate, leave their houses is not possible.
All right, let's move on quickly now to The Guardian. Don't criminalize opposing views. NLC cautions federal government. Cholera claims 30 lives in Jigawa. How FG plans to boost export with 50 billion ESP funding. Who has an...
So we don't criminalize opposing views.
Yes, go ahead.
The Nigerian Labour Union is warning the federal government, and it's just saying, and this was during the Eid celebration, that the president of NLC was saying that when government tries to suppress peaceful protests, it sends a dangerous signal that it is only meaningful, for Nigeria when we can all parties can come to the table and have meaningful conversations. And that would reflect in the policies in the country. But when you put a gag or when you try to suppress it violently, you would only, and also violently crushing peaceful protests, that you would only get to a point where aggrieved groups, ethnic, nationalist individuals, all these things, you just stir up more division. And so in order to make sure that there's peace amongst all religions, all ethnicity, right, all Nigerians, which allow for people to speak their minds and come to the table and have meaningful conversations.
All right. So according to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, 50 billion naira would be used for the Export Expansion Facility Program. This program is supposed to help see to building of warehouses around airports that, will be used to package goods at international standard meant for export out of the country. So this is supposed to help boost our economy at some point under the supervision of the
Final paper, News
cholera.
Direct. Go ahead. You have a story
Yes,
there?
the cholera story. So the permanent secretary in the state's Ministry of Health, that Jigawa State has confirmed 30 persons have died due to the infection believed to be cholera. They said out of the 30 persons that died were 2,000 people that were infected. So what they've done is to release drugs at 3 health centers in Hadeja, Duse, and Rinjim local government councils so that the victims can have immediate health care. And they're also going to be partnering with UNICEF and Doctors Without Borders, known as Medicines Sans Frontiers, who have indicated readiness to help the state in curbing the spread of cholera.
Yeah. So News Direct, the final paper, controversy trails Igboho's arrest. He TAD pays 9 months pension arrears to DBS pensioners. Police rescue 100 kidnapped victims in Zamfara. Ido Kabir ghastly loan accident claims 110 in Kwara. And PDP accuses Buhari of self-secession plot. Okay, any stories there?
The Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate has paid, as part of the consequential adjustments, has paid a 9 months minimum wage as part of consequential adjustment to pensioners. They call them the Defined Benefit Scheme. And the first batch was done in May. Now they are continuing it. This will be paid to the pension companies, the Civil Service Pension Department pensioners all across the country. And 6 months of the same areas to parastatals, police, customs, immigration, prisons, and departments of pensioners. I think this is welcome in the face of the present hardship.
Do we have time for almost
Yes, please. We have one.
So on the 8th of June in Zamfara State, I think bandits kidnapped 100 people from the state, Zamfara State, and they have been in custody, been with the bandits for about 42 days. But luckily now the state government has said that the 100 of them, everybody has been rescued, and they did not pay any form of ransom. They used some direct and indirect modus operandi to rescue them, and they are saying they're not going to allow any of this to happen again. They are really serious about helping to, get out people who have been kidnapped, people who have been abducted, students and all of that. So the state government is working really hard to ensure that they get their people. So they're going to take them for medical checkup before they release them to their family.
Okay. We have to run. That's all we can take on front page review. When we come back, there's a hot topic the whole of Nigeria have been talking about. We've not discussed it. We'll talk about it later. after we discuss some issues concerning financials. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
My son has always dreamt of being in the spotlight. As his mother, it is my duty to help him live up to his dream. That's why I give him Born Vita every day, which contains iron, zinc, and vitamin C that supports his immunity and gives him the strength to pursue his dreams. Born Vita, strength to dream.
Thank goodness. Now that Grandma is here, I can take my leave. My flight is in 2 hours, honey. You know how the traffic is.
But, honey, you still need to drop me off at the hospital.
Oh, not to worry, honey. That has been settled. I booked an appointment already using the Clearline HMO app on my phone.
You know we already have a plan with them.
Wow, interesting.
Clearline HMO provides you with flexible healthcare service right when you need it. You can pre-schedule and book specialist services at your convenience.
Hello, Mama. Is everything fine?
My son, our baby is here.
With Clearline HMO, you've got a health partner with a cutting-edge solution whenever and wherever. Get your health managed by subscribing to any of our healthcare plans available to individuals and corporate organizations. For more information, log on to www.clearlinehmo.net. Clearline HMO, the health insurance people.
Kehinde suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
I am Funke Akindele Bello. As a mom, most times we get disturbed or being called for one thing or the other. You know our kids now. And oh, how they love to make us proud.
I mean, we love to see our kids happy.
Their happiness is our happiness. The same happiness we felt when we learned that the original Kellogg's cornflakes is here. The world's #1 is here. I got an invite to tour the Kellogg's factory. It was amazing. Trust me, we're in good hands. It smells so fresh.
It's real corn.
Super crunchy, super tasty.
It's because it's world's #1.
Go grab the new Kellogg's cornflakes now.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
Why do we do it? Hide, cover up, tone down. Choose boldness. Celebrate the skin you're in and dress with confidence with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion. The triple layered care of deep moisture serum, precious cocoa butter, and vitamin E enriches your skin for 48 hours. It's time to show off your best skin. Wear your skin with pride every time with Nivea Nourishing Cocoa Body Lotion.
Chapman, drink smooth.
Introducing the Save and Win Pali promo. Just save 10,000 Naira or more monthly and stand a chance to win up to 5 million Naira and other exciting prizes in the Save and Win Pali promo. Download the Union mobile app to open an account or visit the nearest Union Bank branch. Union Bank, your simpler, smarter bank.
Thanks for staying with us. So we have with us the Executive Director of Micro Enterprise Bank of Nigeria, actually Bank of Industry, Tony Adeniji to discuss steps towards solving many of the socio-economic issues plaguing many economies across the world and how to access existing solutions and interventions. Welcome to the show, madam. Are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Good to have you on the show. Yes, I can see you. Right, so we've had this conversation a few times over, but it's important that we keep talking about it because we want people in the informal sector to know the opportunities available to them to grow their businesses. So just for starters, for those who have no idea what this is about, could you tell us exactly who are those that make up the informal sector and why are they so important in the economy of our country?
Well, the informal sector is typically made up of micro enterprises and very small business. And sometimes even we have SMEs, that's small and medium enterprises in this category. Typically, informal businesses are those that would have a sole entrepreneur, a sole person running a business. Sometimes they will have 2 to 3 persons working with them. Sometimes they will have sort of, the turnover obviously can also be below a certain amount. It varies from country to country, from jurisdiction to jurisdiction. But in Nigeria specifically, informal businesses will be, the businesses you see in the markets, running from home, corner on the streets, working in small, just a small setup. And then they're not usually also documented on the corporate, government database. They did not go through the CAC, did not go through all the sort of formal registrations that companies would have to have. And so they may also not be directly liable for formal government taxes as well.
Right,
Yeah.
okay.
So many times we hear how large, we know how large our informal sector is. We hear how they make great contributions to, our economy and our GDP. And yet, just as you've explained, all the socioeconomic descriptors is that they are poor, they are not sustainable, and all the other issues surrounding the informal sector. What can government and stakeholders do? What are the solutions to help improve and sustain productivity of this of the informal sector?
So the informal sector, I actually wouldn't want to use the word poor. You mentioned the word that they are poor, and I don't want to use that word poor because that connotes vulnerability and just not being able to really be commercially viable. The informal sector need an ecosystem that will allow them to thrive. And so the role of the government is to ensure that they provide this ecosystem that will allow them to thrive. And within the ecosystem, you can now begin to point at various things. So I like to use the access to sort of issues that have to be dealt with. So access to funding is very important, critical for the viability of any enterprise, no matter what size it is. Access to markets is very important. When they have goods, they have to be able to get their goods to the market, and the market has to be able to function for them to be able to exchange goods for money and to make it viable. I say access to information is also very important. There has to be information. There has to be a deliberate attempt to teach financial literacy. There has to be a deliberate attempt to onboard them on the financial platforms. And so, so access to information is very critical. I also would like to introduce access to technology. No matter, regardless, with the proliferation of mobile phones and smartphones, everyone has access, or a lot of people have access to the internet, and so access to technology is also becoming a very critical component of the ecosystem that will make these enterprises thrive.
Okay, ma'am. So we find that micro businesses, most especially in the informal sector, find it difficult to scale up their businesses or to even break even. And so we have businesses that run, some even collapse before they get to 5 years and above. What do you think is the cause of some of these problems, and how can it be alleviated?
Well, I mean, I think the whole I've already introduced, ecosystems, and I think the ecosystem in which all businesses operate in is a tough one. So either you're a small business, either you're a micro enterprise, either you're even a large enterprise, because the large businesses also need the small ones to survive. It's a very tough ecosystem, and so it's just being able to survive or manage your way through the toughness of that environment. But again, I think the government comes into play here. How do we begin to create that ecosystem that will allow these enterprises to thrive? One part of it is the funding. Everybody says, cash is king. We need money to survive, but money is just one bit of it. Financial literacy is. I don't recall what the levels of financial literacy are in Nigeria, but I can take a guess that it's less than 50%. And so we need to teach them, these literacy skills. How do we apply these skills to our business? We need to have funding. We need to have funding. And one of the things that we're doing now is having these conversations. We have to bring these conversations to the table. We have to bring it to the forefront. We have to bring it to the forefront, and we cannot just sort of skirt around it and just, hope that, it's a tough environment and things will get better.
Right.
Yes, things will get better. There has to be action. And so those actionable steps that the ecosystem has to bring up, or that just have to, the ecosystem has to deliver, will have to be talked about and brought to the table and brought to the forefront. And then there has to be a deliberate attempt to make sure that the interventions and policies that surround this ecosystem are going to help these enterprises to thrive.
Okay, go ahead, Nima.
Okay, what's the future of work in Africa's informal sector, and specifically Nigeria? And how do you see current trends helping, evolving, and what roles will skill development, technology, and data play in, creating more productivity?
Well, I think in some ways, the question you asked now, I think nearly summarizes some of the things I've already said in terms of giving that answer and what role will these things play. So I think what your question asks is, what's the role of non-financial capabilities or non-financial products or services? How do we use this to help this group of businesses? And I think it's key that we're in an era of technology. So I think now, with the type of data that we have available, there's a lot of talk of big data. I think big data now there's even more talk of artificial intelligence. Then we have, there's talk of, how do we use technology to drive these things? And I think this is really where that shift is. So maybe, if you like, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or maybe even...
So let's be more practical now. What exactly is the data that you have that can help? Because most sectors are suffering because we do not have exact data to help grow. When you say with the data that we have now, I'm wondering if there's available data, why is government still slow? What exactly is that data that we have that,
You're actually mixing it up. So when I talk about data, I'm not talking about data that we've collected. For example, it's not data that Bank of Industry has collected and said, there are 10 million, there's 10 million. Data now, when we talk about data now, I'm not an expert in technology, but when you talk about data, so everything so when people have mobile phones, for example, just by virtue of buying it and topping the way they use their mobile phone, that data is captured. And when people have bank accounts, the way they run those accounts, that data is captured. And there's a database that can be mined and be used to begin to develop algorithms that help to either, make funding of these micro enterprises easier, because that whole data is being mined and being used to see who is good for data, who is not good for data. Today we have BVN. Today we have NIN. Today we have, data
Right, got you.
linked together.
Right.
And so by capturing all this data in a I would call it mega database, then this data can be used to begin to work, what we call digital finance. It can be used, it can be mined and used to, to make sure that these group of people are not left out, And so data is key. If you have technology and you don't have data, there has to be a meeting of the two. So data is key. It's not data that, we have collected,
All right.
data
So
that
we might have to wrap up very soon, but it's important. I mean, as much as I understand what you've said so far, but when we talk about intervention for the informal sector, it just seems so complicated, I would say, a bit, because the people that we're talking to need to understand this opportunity. So what can be done to further reduce the risks for them getting into being part of this intervention, one? Secondly, how do we ensure they understand the benefits of what's been offered?
Information. So, for example, at the Bank of Industry, all through the pandemic, we have continued to we've continued, or even I would nearly say we've even done better in supporting our portfolio of beneficiaries. So we've continued to be in full support. We've continued to, with those that have facilities with us, we've continued to engage with them. Specifically, interest rates were reduced. Specifically, loan repayment tenors were made longer. We introduced flexibility. Some loans were restructured. Moratorium was made to be bigger, and we continue to, even as I speak now, we continue to look at new ways and new products that will help, to really close that gap. Now, one of the things that's also very important is bringing the beneficiaries also to the table. So it's one thing for me to, to be here and sort of say, oh, we can do this, we can do this, we can do this. That's a big piece, and that's something that we have to do. But more important is, how do we bring the beneficiaries to the table? How do we bring their voice to the table? Because that is the only way that we can really make sure that, the products that we develop are useful and can also impact their lives.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll be speaking with the Executive Director, Micro Enterprise Bank of Industry, Toyin Adeniji. Thank you so much, madam, for joining us and enlightening us on this again. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to go on a break now. When we come back, Lagos State is having the elections, the local government elections this weekend. Are they prepared? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
After purchasing Adron's land, this is the gift we got, the Ileya gift.
I purchased the land and here's the gift items as regards the Ileya promo.
For giving me 3 rams. I actually collected one last week. And these are the remaining ones.
Fulfilled the promises. I made the purchase and they gave me what they promised I was going to get for it.
They are very real and reliable. You can trust them any day, anytime.
Adron Homes, making the incredible affordable.
Children are gifts and a source of joy. When they are happy, we're happy too. But when they are down with sickness such as malaria, we become sad and worried. Not to worry, Camosunate Anti-Malarial for Children has always been there for years. Camosunate also comes in tablets for adults. Bounce back from malaria with Camosunate. Confirm if Camosunate is original by texting to... Read the leaflet inside. If symptoms persist after 3 days, please consult your doctor. Camosunate, effective anti-malaria for all ages. Marketed by Zenith Pharmaceuticals Limited.
With my pregnancy, I started looking for the best of everything for my baby. When I met Molfix Newborn, I said this is the diaper I'm looking for. The formula of happiness for me is Molfix Newborn. There are no harmful substances in Molfix. I feel very comfortable while my baby sleeps peacefully. With its special umbilical cord and soft upper surface. Come on, mothers, try Molfix Newborn and join our happiness movement.
Somebody asked me.
It's here again, Equip Season 11, the annual online global music conference for choirs, music ministers, worship leaders, music pastors, instrumentalists, songwriters, and all lovers of gospel music. Facilitators are Donsi Onyekon, Pastor Kunle Ajayi, Onos Ario, Buchi, Dr. Soji Israel, USA, Pastor Chris Devan Guamna, and your host, Dr. Faith Ajiboye. Theme, Spiritual Songs. Date, Saturday, July 24th, 2021. Time, 2 p.m. Registration, choir, 10,000 naira. Individual, 2,000 naira. Pay to the account details on your screen. For enquiries, please call 0803-442-4883. Be equipped. Be empowered to do more. Powered by Today's Music Africa.
You clean your teeth every morning, but that fresh breath feeling just doesn't last. The answer? Easy. You keep your teeth strong and healthy and give your mouth long-lasting fresh breath with new Oral-B 2-in-1 toothpaste. It helps strengthen your teeth and gives you long-lasting fresh breath.
So fresh, still fresh, and still fresh.
Stay strong, stay fresh. New Oral-B toothpaste for strong teeth and long-lasting fresh breath.
With my pregnancy, I started looking for the best of everything for my baby. When I met Molfix Newborn, I said this is the diaper I'm looking for. The formula of happiness for me is Molfix Newborn. There are no harmful substances in Molfix. I feel very comfortable while my baby sleeps peacefully. With its special umbilical cord and soft upper surface. Come on, mothers, try Molfix Newborn and join our happiness movement.
Thanks for staying with us. So joining us on the show is the chairman, Lagos State Independent Electoral Commission, Justice Ayotunde Phillips, retired. She will be speaking about the commission's level of preparedness for the next this Saturday's local government polls in Lagos. We're going to talk about the process, the political parties, security, logistics, and other things. Welcome to the show, madam.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good to have you on the show. Now,
thank you.
This weekend, obviously, elections are here, and it's important to know that indeed that it's going to be free and fair.
Yes.
Nigerians are worried about the rowdiness, the preparedness of not just INEC, but even the political parties. What have you done so far to ensure that everybody complies with the rules of the game?
Well, we have set out our guidelines since April. So for all the political parties to familiarize themselves with our guidelines. And chiefly, we've told them that they should be well-behaved during their campaigns. There should be no abusive language.
Good.
We spelled it out, specifically. There should be nothing inciting, and they should respect one another. And so far, it's been fair.
Okay, so I have one thing, of course, when it comes to elections, we know pockets of violence here and there.
Yes.
And not just against those who are going to vote, even INEC officials. What are the specific things we've put in place, INEC has put in place to make sure that people are safe while they're casting their vote and when they leave?
Right. First of all, we're LASIEC, not INEC.
Yeah.
Okay.
INEC
Yes,
is,
of course,
INEC
Lagos.
is the federal,
yes.
and we're the state.
Yes.
We're very mindful of the security situation. I mean, we'll be foolish not to observe what has been happening all over the country. But so we've decided and we've agreed to work with all the security agencies in the country that are based in Lagos State. The police, which are the frontliners, civil defense, they come after, then the Department of State Security, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, and Neighborhood Watch.
For election.
Yeah, it's very important. Very, very important. And definitely Operation Mesa, which is the Joint Task Force of the Armed Forces. They'll be very much in the background. The Armed Forces don't really like interfering in such matters, but because of the situation in the country now, they'll just be in the background, just in case anybody or there's any trouble, they'll show their force and, quickly remove and quell any disturbance. So we've been working with them. We have a security committee, which I chair, and we've been working with them. In fact, we're having our last meeting tomorrow to finalize, to dot our I's and cross our T's.
Fantastic.
Okay, ma, so in terms of logistics, how equipped and prepared are you with your papers that you need, materials, and also in light of COVID-19, what are some of the guidelines you put in place to ensure that people don't, touch each other?
Good question. In regards to our preparedness, we're about 95% there. The 5% remaining is for the sensitive materials, which we don't release until the day before, as the ballot papers and some other things. So we're virtually ready to go. COVID, very good question. We must observe all the COVID protocols as set out by the state government. So anybody coming to vote, please wear your mask. Be prepared to have your temperature taken at the polling unit. Asked to sanitize your hands. You'll be given a squirt of hand sanitizer, and then you proceed for the accreditation preparatory to voting. So everything, we're good to go. And amongst the security units, one of the officers, maybe the officer from Neighborhood Watch, but they'll decide amongst themselves, because we'll have these security officers all over the place.
Social distancing.
Yes, social distancing, I have mentioned it, and I'm just touching wood that we're not very good at queuing up.
Yeah, we're not.
And then when you now say, leave a space, well, we're going to try.
Do you try those to draw out where they can stand? Because usually it helps, like at the malls, we tend to stand. When you know you have a designated spot to stand, you would stand there.
In all the polling units, we have over 8,000.
Wow, gotcha.
That's a lot of work.
So, I mean, and some of them are just on the street.
Yeah.
Or in the corner of the street. Yeah, so that would be difficult. We have not, let me not lie, we've not even thought about that, but maybe the SPO, the supervisory polling officer, or any officer there would just say, or one of the security officers will say, please move.
Great.
Okay, so when you mentioned that, some of the agencies that will be working to make sure that there's security and, that the elections are safely done, I was wondering what level of force can be used, because every time you see people start to criticize that, that they were using guns or something to organize people. But we know the way we are, and we know that force is most times required when people go the extreme, trying to hijack, ballot boxes and a lot of other things that will be done. What exactly is the level that, the security agents working with you can go? What is the brief for them?
Oh, the brief for them, of course, is, when Operation Mesa comes in, definitely there's going to be force, because that's armed forces. The police don't carry guns to the polling units for obvious reasons. We don't want to scare people, and we don't want anybody getting trigger happy. So the policeman will just be there to show that there's some level of authority, some security. And the same thing with the civil defense. But if it gets too bad and you have to call in Operation Mesa, then, all bets are off.
All right. I observed, and this is just before the elections, that we hardly saw any other party posters out there. It's just one party. You think it's only one party that is running for election in this state. Is there a reason for that, or do you, as an INEC, LASEC in Lagos State, did they come to you to complain that they didn't allow them to post something? What exactly happened in Lagos?
I really don't know. I quite agree with you. I've only seen one party campaigning. In fact, I had to ask questions, because, we know people in all the parties that, why aren't you people campaigning and saying, Mama, there's no money?
Wow.
And some say that they're doing house to house. Has anybody been to anybody's house?
No, but there's a possibility that, some party have more money and then they're stronger than the other.
Oh, definitely.
So I've seen other party posters around, but they're so minute. And then the next day I drive by, they've been taken down.
Wow.
So they're not as
Yeah,
loud
so
as
let's take it to that. But let me go on a break. I'd like to talk those who take it down. What happens to them? We'll talk about that after the break. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
People of Shahen Village, united, yeah? Now, Baale talk say, make I give you this important message, yo. Baale talk say, Eko Electricity Distribution Company talk say, some mago GBT people, they work about, they talk say, then go help you to get meter, to do meter bypass, to adjust bill. Kuna no listen to them, oh. Them LGBT young people, na mugu they look for. Anything where you want do for Eco Disco, whether you want get new meter, or you want pay bill, or you want do the connection, you feel log into their website www.ekedp.com. I talk away, I don't talk away.
Eco Disco, now we dey empower quality of lives.
At the first sign of pain, you need a solution that you can trust. Try Panadol Caplet. With Panadol's Optizol formula, the tablet absorbs quickly and starts providing fast and effective pain relief you can trust. Try Panadol Caplet.
Rain or shine, I'm gonna take
Kelvin, someone just bashed your car. What? How bad is it? Very bad. All right, come on, we'll fix it. Kelvin, I said someone just bashed your car.
Calm down. Get the Leadway Auto Insurance now.
Someone just bashed your car.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning, getting set for another day. Another chance to change my story. I believe in my hustle. I know be lazy person. But life is just they knock me boost. If it don't close, I go find another. If I fall down, I go try to recover. If it ever walk me, I know they bother. Cause I believe, say, I go surely prosper. You don't get that shit, won't be. We move. No matter what they say, we move.
Whatever life brings, we move. Turn up your dreams. MTN, everywhere you go.
See, nurse, she's saying she feels unwell, despite my efforts to practice good hygiene.
Mom says wash your hands to keep the germs away.
Washing hands is good, but surfaces can also have germs, and you shouldn't use just anything for cleaning them. Use Jik. Jik's formula has been scientifically proven to stay active for longer, giving you whitening and germ kill protection on a variety of surfaces. Disinfect to protect, just Jik it. Endorsed by National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives.
There are certain moments in the day when I need my me time to just unwind and indulge.
What is this?
The Cadbury goodness is in every pack of Cadbury 3-in-1 hot chocolate, making you feel cheerful and pleasant. Enjoy the Cadbury goodness.
Kehinde suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
Thanks for staying with us. So, we're talking about the posters earlier and people pulling down posters of other parties. Has that report come to you? And if it has, what has been done about it, or what was done about it?
I've not received any such report.
Okay.
And the only posters I've seen are along Ikorodu Road on my way into the office, and they're still there.
Okay, so my question is, and I'm wondering if you can talk about it. You know, right now everyone is talking about the electronic transmission.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if Lagos State has a problem with that, and if it's something that you're certain and confident that it can work in Lagos State, and do you think do you think it's something to be encouraged?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah. It's the only way to go from now forward when it comes to voting. E-voting is the best thing that ever. You can stay in your home or use your phone and vote. No stress, no lining up in the sun, no lining up in the rain. But it's very expensive.
Oh, is it more expensive?
Definitely, more than the paper thing.
Yeah, but let me take a follow-up
so
on
many
that.
systems.
So what's being debated right now is not so much of the voting, it's the result transmission. So I'd like to ask you, just a background on her question is, could you tell us the process? So you get to the polling unit, you do your accreditation. I'd like to know the process till the point where it gets to your own database or where you get the results. Could you give us the process?
You mean the process now?
Yes, now.
That we're going to use on Saturday?
Yes.
You get to the polling unit, you're accredited, go with your permanent voter's card or your temporary voter's card if you don't have your permanent voter's card. And then you're accredited, you put your thumb. Don't worry if your thumbprint doesn't read your name. There's going to be an incident sheet where your name will be written down and your vote will still count. Then when you've done all that, you proceed to the other officer who will give you your ballot paper and mark your finger. Then you vote, come back out, put your ballot inside the bag, and you leave.
And then what do you do administratively?
Now, administratively, they're going to tabulate all the results. Now, some of the results will be in the card reader, the electronic card reader, and some will be on the incident sheet. The incident sheets are going to be collated along with, those won't go to the cloud. The one in the card reader will go to the cloud. INEC has the cloud, and then we'll get the results from there. That's the electronic bit we'll get.
Gotcha.
The other bit will be the manual.
Right.
So we're still operating both.
Yeah.
It's almost like an e-transmission.
Already, yes.
Yeah,
because
yes.
what you've thumbprint is going to go into cost. Now, that's from INEC, because we had to get the card readers from INEC. They have the infrastructure for all this. We don't. And they have the voters register. They have the power to handle that, collate that, amend that, update it. We don't have that power, so we have to work with them in that.
They wanted a backing, more like a legal backing for it. But I wanted to ask, do you have extra hands from people working with
right from returning officers, relation officers, to the police officers, phone officers. A whole bunch of them. It's an administrative nightmare. I tell you, it could be quite. Well, I think we're getting the hang of it now.
Right.
Certain areas where we assume that elections are always easy, voting is always easy. So in my area, if you have your PVC, we usually go and register across the lagoon at Ibeshi. So it's easier because there you can just come at the time, like to Shakara and just thumbprint and be going. But, is it like that? Has it continued to be like that? Do you foresee that? And sometimes when ballots and all of those issues happen over there, it takes time to be reported on the mainland. So what exactly is it around these areas? I'm talking about the other
riverine
areas. The riverine areas, Oriba and all of that.
But those areas, they are a bit difficult because you have to cross water. But we're working with, the Nigerian Union of Transport. They know, all their members, they know the nooks and crannies of the creeks. And then that's where the Marine Police come in and the Navy. The Navy will be patrolling that area to avoid anything untoward. And then the Marine Police inspect all the boats and they certify all the boats that we use. And they're at hand, just in case anybody falls out of the boat into the water and needs to be fished out. But we haven't had any such incidents yet, and we will not have.
So what time should people get to the polling units, one? And secondly, I always hear that at some point they announce, okay, at this polling unit we have 120 votes, so everybody knows. So just in case They are now doing the final. You can always check the numbers once they get to 9 o'clock.
When does it start and when does it
end?
So that when it ends, we know the number that we have voted.
Yes.
It starts at 8 a.m. in the morning and then it's at 3 p.m. in the afternoon. And there's going to be no movement on that day for that period.
Yes.
The Lagos State government will soon make that announcement.
Okay, great. So after about 3 p.m., you can. So if you vote at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can come back about 3 p.m. just to find out. Okay, they've done collating to know the figure. So because everybody now we're all online. Everybody wants to take pictures. So to be sure. And do you encourage citizen support, meaning they're sending you stuff just in case they see some hanky-panky going on?
They did that last time. Oh, yes.
Because they don't want people sending it to social media. I would like them to send it to you to see, to investigate. But is there an opportunity to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
They have my number. I mean, I'm surprised all my numbers are out there in the domain. I mean, like, how do you get my numbers? Mommy, we have all your numbers. so and I answer my call. Whoever calls me, crank calls and all, I answer them all. And I do get a lot of feedback. And I'm glad that happens because I hear a lot of things and I get to handle a lot of things before it gets out of hand.
Well, we have to wrap up with you, but I think it's been a pleasure.
Okay.
You're still active. May I ask you what your age, please? Is that okay?
I'll be 72 on Monday.
Wow.
Oh
Why?
my God.
I think I look 80 already.
No, you don't. You don't. You look amazing.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. You're inspiring. You inspire us, right?
Yes.
We like to see people like you do so much work. You're still serving at 72. Wow. That's fantastic. Well done, madam.
Thank you so much.
So we wish you the best this weekend.
Thank you.
We hope that if we hear anything, we'll call you.
Please call me.
We'll call you.
You have my number, don't you?
See what's they're snatching ballot, especially Nima is the investigator. Her eyes are everywhere.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
I hope I don't hear from you then.
That'll be a good thing. Good news. All right. That's all we can take on this. When we come back, I told you, Nigerians have been discussing this matter that they sacked a pastor from a church. Your view hasn't discussed it too. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
In a world of a pandemic, the need to relieve stress cannot be overemphasized.
Pride Rock Entertainment presents the most entertaining, mind-blowing comedy event of the year. The Chronicles of Hush Baby Live returns. Ya Daddy 15, the vaccine edition. Taking place on the 25th of July at the prestigious Eko Hotel and Suites, Lagos. Time at 6 p.m. Comedy vaccines by Dr. Destalker, Dr. Igo Save, Dr. Kororo, Dr. Dan the Humorous, Dr. Bucci, Dr. Tamama, and many more physicians. Music vaccines by Jazz music superstars, and on the wheels, your host, Hush Baby. For reservation and sponsorship, please call 0802-990-6500. Please note, this event is for a limited audience, with all COVID-19 protocols duly observed. Proudly supported by New Age Charger and TVC Max FM. Packaged by Larry Mako Events. Get vaccinated.
Someday when I grow up, I would like to be a great innovator, or a singer, or a doctor, or even a president.
I believe my son can achieve anything. That's why I support his dreams with Twisco. It's a delicious mix of cocoa, malt, and milk. Twisco is fortified with Enfort, a special blend of vitamins and minerals that provides the nourishing support to get ahead.
Twisco, power your dream.
Somebody asked me.
It's here again. Equip Season 11, the annual online global music conference for choirs, music ministers, worship leaders, music pastors, instrumentalists, songwriters, and all lovers of gospel music. Facilitators are Donsi Onyekon, Pastor Kunle Ajayi, Onos Ariyo, Bucci, Dr. Soji Israel, USA, Pastor Chris Devan Guamna, and your host, Dr. Faith Ajiboye. Theme, Spiritual Songs. Date, Saturday, July 24th, 2021. Time, 2 p.m. Registration, choir, 10,000 naira. Individual, 2,000 naira. Pay to the account details on your screen. For enquiries, please call 0803-442-4883. Be equipped. Be empowered to do more. Powered by Today's Music Africa.
I am always thinking about your well-being, so when I learned that 7 out of 10 children in Nigeria are iron deficient and this slows their growth, affects learning, and can cause anemia, I got worried.
Mom is right. 1 sachet of Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus a day provides 50% of your child's daily iron needs to support proper growth and learning.
That's reassuring.
Cerelac Junior with Iron Plus. It's all good, Mom.
See, nurse, she's saying she feels unwell, despite my efforts to practice good hygiene.
Mom says wash your hands to keep the germs away.
Washing hands is good, but surfaces can also have germs, and you shouldn't use just anything for cleaning them. Use Jik. Jik's formula has been scientifically proven to stay active for longer, giving you whitening and germ kill protection on a variety of surfaces. Disinfect to protect, just Jik it. Endorsed by National Association of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives.
Here today, gone tomorrow. 'Cause you volatile like the water. And you promise what you don't know. Sometimes it's right and then it's so wrong. Them go do like say them why. Go promise you the world. My brother all now wash it. Up all on no be open eye. I see no be water. Khaki no be letter.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Thanks for staying with us. So a few days ago, many Nigerians took to social media to share their unpleasant personal encounters with issues concerning pastors, concerning the church of Winners Chapel. And there was a letter that trended online that he was allegedly sacked. Now, from the letter, he was sacked for not meeting certain obligations. But verbally, he said that he was told by some sources, some unidentified sources, that, oh, it's because he didn't meet certain financial expectations. And of course, many people started posting other posts concerning, oh, it was not only this guy, the other 36 somewhere, there's 47 in the other places. As usual, we don't like focusing on the story itself because really it's not our business. But we want to talk about the issue of, number one, taking matters to social media on this issue with the pastor. Was it right for a pastor to take the matter to social media? Secondly, is it right for a church or a religious body or a mosque, let's even add mosque to it, for a mosque to sack a shepherd, maybe a pastor or an imam, right? And are religious organizations being run as businesses? I mean, those are the questions Nigerians are asking. And the conversation has started over the weekend. And we'd like to hear your thoughts on it. You can call us on 0812752 53687. You can also call us on 0913-9076948. You can send your messages on YouTube and on Facebook. We'll be happy to read your messages. Okay, so Obiajulu, would you like to start today? What are your thoughts first on the matter and then generally speaking on this?
Okay, so when I saw what happened, I saw the fact that the pastor came on social media and narrated his experiences, showed the letter and everything. I was like, shouldn't you have taken this matter to God on your knees? Because aside from the fact that the church is an organization that is run physically, it's also a spiritual organization. And the bishop could have done what he did because he was running an institution. We will say it's spiritual and everything, but we don't use money to buy fuel. We don't use water to buy fuel. We are still operating in the world, and certain things must be put in place, especially for a church that has gotten to that level. There are certain steps that the bishops take from time to time to sanitize the system, to make sure that everybody is effective. Nobody would like to keep a worker who isn't performing, whether it's spiritually or financially. And also, it's one side of the story. So we heard from the end result, okay, final sack. But we don't know how long they would have had conversations. We don't know how long they would have given him a time frame to sort himself out. We don't know how long they would have sanctioned him. We don't know if he had gotten queries from time to time. We don't understand this thing. But I believe that a church is an organization, and it needs money to function. So as a full-time pastor, you're not working in an organization. So there are some pastors that have a job, a day job, and then come and pastor. But there are other pastors that have been employed by the church to work full-time. That means they are earning, they are earning from the proceeds that they make. So if you get to a place and you're not making that much, and other people support you and carry you you have a time frame to either sit up or you are sacked. Because I wanted to give an example with the scriptures when God cursed a fig tree for not producing. That fig tree was not in his season. It wasn't in his season. But he received the curse because he did not produce. So sometimes we don't understand some spiritual things.
All right, so if you want to look at it in context, though, what is produced in the things of God? Is it money? Is it the souls?
A lot.
What is produced? Let me come to
Mama. And I think that is the main issue why lots of people are talking. Because when we talk about church, every time we have spoken about church, many people, when we want to criticize church for anything, many people say, touch not my anointed. This is the Holy Ghost. This is the church. So, of course, you now assume that everything concerning church is based on God and God alone. No money involved. So what people are saying is one soul not much more important? If this pastor is able to save only one soul, the impact of that one soul isn't that enough to cover for any financial shortcomings that he may have? Really? Isn't the sole purpose of having a pastor to win souls? So if he's doing it in a rundown place, they're not able to put monies together, or he's just winning souls of people who are not financially able to, carry to pay the rent and pay for fuel, but you are winning souls, and that's what Nigerians are asking. They're asking that because many Nigerians have said, churches seem to be run as a business. Shouldn't churches be paying taxes? And people are like, no, don't even go there. This is church. So if this is church, why is it then now we are seeing that it is being run as a business? Monies are expected to come from it. A pastor is given a target like a banker, and he's made to, to be able to pay for things that are run. I don't even understand that part where you must pay money to run a business. But then the church now, the conversation is that the church now needs to accept that it is a business. The spiritual angle for me is really the personal angle. Many people get to church because, they're on this journey with God, they found God, and then you go there and you receive, the word spiritually, and you grow. But then you start to hear about the politics of church when that person decides, okay, apart from just sitting here and just receiving the message, I want to be part of the church. I want to be a worker. And then you start hearing people talking about the politics of church. Then when the person has now become a worker and is now like the head of something, the pastor, you now start hearing about the business of church. Now the church needs to understand that it is like the Trinity too. Spiritual, political, and business. They say give together. Give to Caesar what is Caesar. So when you need to pay tax,
Jesus said that.
Oh, interesting. I like that. That's interesting.
Okay,
Nima, let me hear your thoughts on this.
Okay, so religious houses, let me not just use...
Don't use your own.
Religious houses are supposed to be run based on charity. So we sack imams. We have... When I was growing up, there was a dawah board, so that the imam does not just go out and give a sermon. My father was deputy imam too in the dawah board at the time, and they were supposed to vet anything that's supposed to be a knowledge thing that the imam was saying. So if he makes a mistake, you see the dawah board will call back, and then there will be a re-sermon. And any misconduct, because the monies for which the imam's salary, house maintenance, and all of that is paid is collected collectively from the Muslim community. That's how it's done. And that's why taxing religious houses is something government left for a long time. But where we are now, the CAC must be allowed to regulate religion. Where we are now. And because it falls too largely on one side doesn't matter. There are now more businesses than, more religion. We'll have a situation where one person sits for a number of years, for too long till he is the alpha and omega of that religious house. He controls the finances that are collected still from people's charity collectively. He controls where they are invested, and when the profits are taken, he's also controlling. So I wanted to argue with the fact that they could sack if he's supposed to generate funds enough to pay his rent for the hall use and house and all of that, and he's not generating. But because if he is not generating in place A, this money, the excess generated from place B, can still be used such that it is.
So if you're running a church who is very successful, let them be the ones to support. But the truth is that do we have pastors today? I have a caller in one second. Okay. Do we have leaders of churches, pastors, imams today who are ready to sell for free? Don't pay me. Because if we want to go with the spiritual argument that, listen, this is a thing of God, let us don't bring money, it's not a business. No problem. All of you work for free now. Do your own private business and do it on it. But because you are being paid.
Do you want to take your call?
I'll take your call then. I'll take the call. I think Ebenezer, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes, a first-time caller. But
welcome to the show.
Thank you. All right, what I have to say is that when Jesus Christ even sent some of the disciples, he said, when I sent you, I didn't give you anything, but yet you did not lack. And if the Bishop Oyedepo, if the ministry or the church did not grow, he wouldn't have even had people to employ. I feel if people are dissatisfied in a particular place, you don't owe the social media. You owe it to God. Yeah. You're working for God. Yes. You can quietly quit and start your ministry and employ pastors who will not grow the ministry for you and borrow money and pay them. At the end of the day, you will understand the pain that the person in the hem of affairs is going through. Yes. Thank you very much.
Let me land my point and quickly too. So when I say we sack in Islam, it's not for lack of generation of funds. It is for misconduct. Good. So as an imam, you cannot. But it has never been in my lifetime that I've seen that because for lack of funds. And money we are used to maintain a person called. It's not necessarily salary because he has a life. He's supposed to have his family. And the duty that you're giving him as head of a church would take all of his time. So how else does he not get distracted on the job? Right. So you have RI job, members of the whatever religious body that it is, pay their tithes and some sadaqah into a purse that can be used for that maintenance. Right. Okay. But when the maintenance comes past salary in court, there's excess money. Then you now have financial institutions, governments come in and regulate that. You can, and the books must be made open.
Right. Okay, so this particular pastor did not say he was sacked because he was not able to bring funds to buy certain things or make profit. So a church does not run for profit. It does not run. That's why they're saying they're not a business, because they don't run for profit. But things can come, blessings can come, and they make money. This particular person, there are different types of pastors. Let me even say that. There are people who are called to do full-time, and there are people who are called to do part-time. That means that they have their personal jobs, they are lawyers, they are bankers, and all of that, and they pastor. So those ones, the church does not necessarily pay them. But you see those ones that they have been designated to do full-time, that means whether he has a certificate or not, he's not working, he's not earning money, and he would have a family, he would have a wife. At least you should be able to run it in such a way that you generate something to sustain you and the church that you're pastoring. Not talk about the one you're supposed to pay to headquarters or whatever it is. Just enough for you. So if you are not able to do that, and you talk about winning souls, when you win a soul, it comes with certain benefits. Other church members will be winning their own souls and handling their church, and they are contributing to help you. You should be able to be productive. What I see is a bit of pride. If you are sacked from pastoring, does not mean you have been sacked from Jesus Christ. You go as a church member, humble yourself and serve. You serve. Let another person pastor who will be able to generate enough to run that environment. It's humility. Tomorrow, when they see that you are ready, for that sort of sack, they could have given him something else that he needs to do to upgrade himself, to get better and all of that. When they see that you're ready, they give you another position. Right. It's not for you to come to social media to lament that you have been sacked because you are not generating money. Okay, humble yourself and go back as a church member and learn
as a true Christian and learn. Let me come to Namdi. Namdi, are you there? I'll go on a break soon. Oh, we lost that. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we'll move on with this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.
No leakage. Yes, moped.
No leakage. No leakage.
Moped Ultra Soft is super absorbent and offers up to 100% leak protection. Your skin will love it.
Big news from Moped. Get new Moped Super Value Pack and save up to 25%.
Enjoy faster connectivity and amazing discounts in the Airtel HBB seasonal offer. Get a MiFi for 9,999 Naira plus up to 55 GB data, or a router for 19,999 Naira plus up to 160 GB data. Offer valid while stock lasts. More data, more you. Reliable home broadband by
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Landlord, I'll pay rent tomorrow. Happy.
It's a dream. So you see this peace of mind that I have? It's because I just finished building my house. Roller property. Roller property. They are the one that run it too. Even though they are running a promo now, if you go and buy land from them outright, they will give you 20% discount. Even if you don't want to pay outright, you can still pay instrumental. You pay instrumental for 24 months. Meanwhile, after all of this goody that they have give you, you know when they will still give you RAM when you deposit. They will give you electronic. They will give you food stuff. I'm even saying too much. I'm saying too much. Go to Roller Property by yourself. Go and find out.
Calling all secondary school female students in Nigeria. This is your chance to demonstrate your debating skills and win great prizes too. The TVC Women's Network is looking for entries to our first ever female debate championship. If you want to take part, send a 300-word essay on the topic why female education is important in Nigeria. Send your essay via our website tvccommunications.tv/TWN Female Debate Championship. Don't forget to include your name, age, and the name of your school. Closing date for entries is July 26th. The TVC Female Debate Championship, encouraging young Nigerian girls to speak up for nation building.
The place and it brighten. Make everybody be wonder. Waiting because of the shine. Lush hair. Long hair or short doesn't matter. Crochet or dreadlocks can be better. Only for girls we know better. Lush hair. So you want to slay? Slay with swag. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush hair. Straight or curly. You know they tango. Lie. Gotta be lush hair. Gotta be lush.
Beautiful people know how to make an impression, and that's why they only trust Lush Hair Extensions to bring out the shine in them. Lush Hair, be beautiful.
Ankara shopping with the right place,
That one no fine.
No, it's too dull.
This one.
Oh wow, it's beautiful.
Omo, this fabric.
You gon' fade though.
Yeah. Look, make I tell you something. The new area Ankara, it go take good care of it.
No right.
Not lie, not true.
And the price
Cheap.
Try new Ariel on your Ankara and colors now.
Kehinde suffers from indigestion. His twin Taiyi suffers from heartburn. Sometimes it's the other way around, or both. That's why they use Gaviscon Double Action. It soothes within 3 minutes and lasts for up to 4 hours. For double relief from heartburn and indigestion, Gaviscon Double Action.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still on this issue that happened in Winners Chapel.
Can I just quickly read this letter?
Go ahead.
Okay. So it's in the Punch. It says, survey normal, Living Faith Church, say Ashinaya, Benue State, dear normal, release letter of release. Consequent upon the recent performance reviews, which revealed that your your church growth index falls below expectations, please be informed that your services as a pastor in charge are no longer required from this commission with immediate effect, and you are to vacate the official accommodation where applicable and hand over all properties of the ministry in your custody.
So what does performance growth index mean?
Yes.
That's not debatable.
Yes.
Well, so if it means that you have not gathered enough people to come to the church, or maybe we expect like at least 20 people to come to your church every Sunday, and you have been able to do that, only 10 of them, then it goes back to my original point. What does it matter? Paul, just one Paul, we know what he has done with the many souls he has brought. So for me, the way the church presents itself and represents itself, it means that just one soul is enough. Now, secondly, if it was you have not, performed so well, the growth index is so bad that we are joining your church with another church, or everyone is moving to another place. So we are not taking, we don't have that particular place anymore for Sunday service.
A cost center.
Good. That is a different thing. And then when you say you leave the premises with immediate effect.
Because they're the parents.
Sounds insensitive.
Human rights, uncle.
They're the parents.
Yes. So that's the thing. It sounded so businesslike. There was no compassion or empathy that we usually expect from the church. And the tone of that letter was like any letter you get from any other business or any organization. So, and that is what people are questioning, because usually when it comes to the church, when it comes to people even criticizing the church, we are told many times on the words to use and how to use it because of what the church, the purity it represents, the empathy, the sympathy that it represents, but we didn't see it in that letter.
So the tone, hang in there. So the tone obviously is an issue. Let me take this call. Joshua, are you there?
I'm here. Good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yes. I've been trying to keep myself not to comment on this issue, but I'm enjoying the program this morning.
Thank you.
The truth is, I'm trying to ask, where is the place of transfer in these modern churches? There are when we're growing up, I grew up in Assemblies of God. And I realized that when a pastor is not doing well in a particular church, they transfer him to another church, to another branch. So where is those policies? There are pastors that are good in grooming members, that are good in winning souls, while there are pastors that are good in maintaining a church. I was in a seminar where Pastor Oyedepo was telling us how they transferred him from Nigeria to Benin Republic to Botswana to grow a church, to be winners. So what I'm saying is, they are really not I'm not in support of the sack as a Christian. And two, if you see he's not doing well here, you can push him out of there and take him somewhere and see his ability. Because before you give somebody responsibility, you would have checked his capacity. One. Then two, when we're growing up, we have this thing. You don't allow Assemblies of God does not allow headquarters to pay rent for a smaller church. So they do it within their means. If it is what you can afford, do it. We're going to church on Sundays with a liter of fuel. One person.
Thank you, Joshua. Let me throw in this angle, because I even want you to address this angle. Because there's an argument that when you say leave everything to God, people are tired of that statement. Because the argument is this guy shouldn't have gone to social media. But in the end, who should he go to? So maybe the church might have closed the opportunity for him to be able to take these grievances to. And we now say don't go to social media. My question is, where else could he? Yes, go to God, we know. But if we keep saying go to God, that's what has gotten us to where we are today, where people just hush. We can't challenge the status quo. We can't challenge the pastors. We can't challenge the things of God because they are things of God. So what could he have done?
So I would have loved that he came out while he was presenting this letter and gave us his employment letter. Gave us what he signed to. Because every organization, every church has its rules, regulations, and expectations. See, you signed up for a job to be paid. So you're working not just for God now, but you're working for this particular organization, and from there you're getting proceeds to feed. So it's a job that you're doing, and you signed up for it. And he could have signed certain things that at so-and-so time, is expected that I bring so-and-so number, is expected that I do so-and-so. He may not have met up to that expectation. And so the church administrative, which I have a problem with the tone of the letter, it just seemed so business-like. So I agree with Miriam on that. But they could have looked through what you signed to, what you're not doing again, and say, okay, it's time to let you go. You go back as a member. The thing we do is, because it's church and because it's God, we feel mediocre should be allowed. Everything should be, once it's God, don't worry, just use God and cover it. Excellence is very key. That church wouldn't have grown to that level if excellence is not applied. So if you are not performing, it's only natural that they say, okay, step down and do so and so till we can get you up.
If they had said, step down and then transfer you somewhere else, just like yourself, become a member, or join your church with another church, that may have been better. But outright, immediately, where the bucket with your family.
It's 40 pastors.
I heard, but we can't confirm that one. It's only one letter we've seen.
Okay.
We don't see the 40 letters.
He said he came to the meeting and there were about 30-something of them. According to what he said.
We are going based on what we saw in the letter. That one we can confirm.
So do you know how many pastors apply to work there as a pastor? Yes, they apply.
They call pastors.
I thought Holy Spirit that will say, go to this master. I hear you. There's a boy under the rock, and then you open the rock.
I am not the Holy Spirit. I feel that a lot of pastors apply.
I don't know about
I feel that a lot of pastors apply.
I don't think so.
Because
in my church, no.
They ordain you
now. It's in steps. You first become a worker. If you become a worker, as you're working, you now grow, and you can become a deacon. From deaconess, you can have, they ordain you. They are officially ordained officially. From being a deacon, you become an AP, assistant pastor. And then pastor level, they can be a parish pastor.
So there are hierarchies.
There's a hierarchy.
I understand, but there's a part of the Holy Ghost.
Which is?
Where the man, the general overseer is sleeping, and he comes in his dream that there's this young man in the creeks of the Niger Delta talking to people, and you need to go and get him and bring him to be here. So when you now have that kind of unctioning and Holy Spirit ministering to you, how do you make 40 of them? How did 40 of them go wrong?
And maybe they don't have the Holy Spirit anymore.
The church. So
we don't know.
I grew up schooling and educated by Catholics. The way I see it, you want to toe the path of God. You give your life to be a God's person. So this calling thing, the phone number, I don't know where it is.
If you are giving your life, Nima.
No, I'm just explaining my own experience with Christianity and the one I understand easily. So when you are volunteered to give your life and you live a life of service to God, and which is what I practice as a Muslim because that's how I was raised, you must be given the opportunity to serve God. When a father, like we used to call them in Catholic Church, they move from parish to parish. And members provide accommodation in each parish. In fact, some people will say, no, our church never reached parish, so we need to upgrade. You will see members raising the monies that we know they will use to put the facility in place to achieve parish. Any other thing, I will raise questions.
So we're all guilty.
Let's not even add to that.
We're all guilty. Because the truth is that we have gone away from what you just said to where we've left it to the church to administrate because they're the ones paying for the house. We didn't know. We've left it to the church because the truth is these people,
the individual is in control of what you do.
The difference is the way with the Catholic Church is there's no general overseer who owns the church, who is running the business of the church. It is God's church. And then these people move from like my secondary school. My parish, the 2 parish priests that came from Ireland, different countries. And even their feeding was done by members of the church. So they give them the food.
If it's God's church, why does this pastor need to be paid?
That's my question.
That's what we're saying now.
That's why SEC must regulate. Karma must be
let me take Shay and I'll come to BC. Shay, are you there? Hello, Shay.
Yeah.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, sir.
Thank you so much for this time. I just want to say a few things. You see, the Church of God cannot be run by one person. That is why they need pastors to assist as the church grows. That is number one. Number two is that when their pastors are assigned to particular duties or parishes, you see, leave them to do their bit as God enables them. Because these people are trying their best. Now, when you come to maybe members coming to church, or you go for evangelism, you want to grow a church, that individual cannot actually win the souls. It's the Holy Spirit that does the conviction that makes people come to church. So when you begin to give people targets, I see it as a misplaced priority, misplaced duties. And the reason why some of them go to voodoo is because when they discover that they can't meet up with this target, they begin to look for other means. They begin to look for other ways to cope. And
want to find something to
back. You understand? So that is why we need, the church has to be very, very careful. And that is why a lot of people these days, they find it difficult to go to church because they are taxed here, they are taxed there, they are guilty. And you see, this church grows and some of the members don't even get benefits from the church.
Thank you very much. Let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
You won't go shake your body. Instead, they make you calm down. If the farm say you sabi, you want to grow 6 packs in a day. I beg you not to pass your power. You want to show yourself,
Whatever your size, find it with the new Airtel data plans. Dial *141# now to get the plan that suits you.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
In a world of a pandemic, the need to relieve stress cannot be overemphasized.
Pride Rock Entertainment presents the most entertaining, mind-blowing comedy event of the year. The Chronicles of Ush Baby Live returns. Yeah Daddy 15, the vaccine edition. Taking place on the 25th of July at the prestigious Eko Hotel and Suites, Lagos. Time at 6 p.m. Comedy vaccines by Dr. Destalker, Dr. Igo Save, Dr. Akpororo, Dr. Dan the Humorous, Dr. Bucci, Dr. Tamama, and many more physicians. Music vaccines by my jazz music superstars. And on the wheels, your host, Ush Baby. For reservation and sponsorship, please call 0802-990-6500. Please note, this event is for a limited audience with all COVID-19 protocols duly observed. Proudly supported by New Age Charger and TVC Max FM. Packaged by Larry Mako Events. Get vaccinated.
Somebody asked me. It's here again, Equip Season 11, the annual online global music conference for choirs, music ministers, worship leaders, music pastors, instrumentalists, songwriters, and all lovers of gospel music. Facilitators are Donsi Onyekon, Pastor Kunle Ajayi, Onos Ario, Bucci, Dr. Soji Israel, USA, Pastor Chris Devan Guamna, and your host, Dr. Faith Ajiboye. Theme, Spiritual Songs. Date, Saturday, July 24th, 2021. Time, 2 p.m. Registration, choir, 10,000 naira. Individual, 2,000 naira. Pay to the account details on your screen. For enquiries, please call 0803-442-4883. Be equipped. Be empowered to do more. Powered by Today's Music Africa.
I am Funke Akindele Bello. As a mom, most times we get disturbed or being called for one thing or the other. You know our kids now. And oh, how they love to make us proud.
I mean, we love to see our kids happy.
Their happiness is our happiness. The same happiness we felt when we learned that the original Kellogg's cornflakes is here. The world's #1 is here. I got an invite to tour the Kellogg's factory. It was amazing. Trust me, we're in good hands. It smells so fresh.
It's real corn.
Super crunchy, super tasty.
It's because it's world's #1.
Go grab the new Kellogg's cornflakes now.
Breakfast time is Kellogg's time. Someday when I grow up, I would like to be a great innovator, or a singer, or a doctor, or even a president.
I believe my son can achieve anything. That's why I support his dreams with Twisco. It's a delicious mix of cocoa, malt, and milk. Twisco is fortified with Enafort, a special blend of vitamins and minerals that provides the nourishing support to get ahead.
Twisco, power your dream.
Thanks for staying with. We're still talking about this pastor that got sacked by Witness Chapel. Yes, Bishop, you're going to say something.
Yeah, so I wanted us to cast our minds back to when Christianity started. Christianity has, let me not use Christianity, let me use religion now, has evolved in such a way that there are now different denominations with different doctrines. So the way the Catholics would handle their secession, their hierarchy is different from the way the Pentecostals do. And what we've seen with the Pentecostals is more like a one-man business. So somebody is called and the person sets up and, you know, grows the church and then starts getting people to handle it as they spread across. So it's still run like a one-man show, even though it's God that has called this person. Because the person had that vision, we find that even when the person dies, it goes to the family member, either the wife or the children. So that's how the Pentecostal format has been. We can now start asking questions. Should this continue? Is this what they are called into? Where do you see service here?
Yeah.
So, but, you know, with the other types or doctrines in Christianity where, like, for instance, my father's church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you are called and you're not paid. So you serve as a president of the church. And then when you grow old, you finish raising your kids, you say, okay, we want to go on a mission. You sell all of your property, and then you travel, go from town to preach. That is their own doctrine. So let's not pitch doctrine against doctrine if we do not understand.
Let me take this call from Worry. Ola, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I would like to start with a reference point from Ephesians chapter 4, verse 11. It says, and now these are the gifts of Christ, gifts to the church, the apostles, some the apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. Now, the truth is that this is a gifting of God. So when you say you want to employ somebody that God has gifted something, how do you assess that thing? Now, if you want to do a business venture, you come with your credentials, you come with the things you've acquired. But this one now, God gives you. There's something they call the School of Mission in many Pentecostal churches. They raise missionaries. The missionaries go out, leave their everything, and face the work of God. And the church, in turn, takes care of their family. Now, in this case now, I attend a Pentecostal church. It is baseless to ask me to go about a spiritual thing and at the same time an economical thing. Those two things, they don't work hand in hand. The Bible says, in the days of his power, the people shall be willing. The apostles that started it, people freely gave. So when you commit a man to the spiritual things of God, and at the same time, you ask him to pursue the natural things of man, you can't form a balanced church.
Hello? I get your point. So, but I wanted to bring this conversation, I wanted to take it out of church. Because, guys, we're in Nigeria, state of insecurity. We're not like other Western countries that have some level of development. The question is, should church targets, expansion be our focus? That's what people are saying. That, listen, we are talking about businesses, church is this, they sacked him, they didn't sack him. Is that what we should be focusing on as a country? Churches are saying we have a target of 10,000 more parishes. And that church is saying another 10,000. Is that what we should be focusing? Should the church not redirect resources, redirect focus to development, manufacturing? Should this pastor not have been trained and raised to actually run a company? I mean, this what we... The point is that, where are we in this country? Let us wake up. Let us wake up and smell the coffee. We're not there yet. So should we redirect our conversation? That's really the question.
Government and attempts of government or legislators have been on track. So we are also a very poor nation. We're trying to diversify our economy. We're trying to do a lot of things. And we're trying to capture taxes and funds that are freely given.
Yes.
We open our eyes and we see the amount of funds that are excused in the name of God and calling in certain places. Of course, government's business also is to find out. In the olden days, why these things I would easily have supported is because most religious houses were charity-driven. They built schools, they paid teachers, they provided hostels, they assisted government in a lot of ways. Government was based on religious foundations in most places, but we are far, far gone from that place now. It's not, why are you looking at my money? Is it your money? Is it your calling? And all of those kind of things. So now regulation must be in place. Just
let me take Bishop, then I'll come to Mary. Bishop, are you there? Oh, Joshua, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Please, I want to comment on this pastor.
Yes, yes. Go ahead.
Now, the truth of the matter is that, like the bankers, like these marketing people in the banking sector that we used to know before, now because of the outrageous kind of target they were given, most of them, which were women, went into prostitution because they want to meet their target. And now, if churches begin to put targets, or if people begin to put targets on their pastors, what do you expect these pastors to do in order to maintain their position as those pastors? Now, what they will do now is to start getting diabolic in order to do that, which is, winning of souls and things like that. No wonder you see them going from places to trying by force to win souls just because they want to maintain their performance in there.
Thank you. So I'm coming to you, Mariam. Well, the question I asked, should churches redirect our focus? Should religious bodies generally redirect focus? Like all this expansion or expanding, it hasn't really gotten us far as a people. Can we redirect our resources, our manpower, our performance growth index to be establishing more charitable organizations to help and support the society?
We do. So recently I told you about my children. They go to this place on Saturdays where they're learning about God and they're learning other skills. And it's Catholic-based, and they're volunteers. It's non-profit. You bring your child in a safe environment, and they're learning so many skills as well as studying. They even have mentors, study partners, and things like that. And that is where I feel church should be looking towards. This is our own peculiar local problem. It's nice to have churches, beautiful churches, dotted here and there all over the country. It's good to have that. But for the Nigeria of today, just like the way we call out rich people when they are spending a lot of money, it's their money in a certain way, but we're asking everybody in Nigeria, let's redirect our thoughts. Let's all put our hearts together and see what we can do for our country at this time. What does our country need more from the church today? Is it more parishes or more impactful parishes? Is it pastors that are able to just get as many people to come and be paying tithes? Or a pastor that's able to affect lives business-wise in their farms and things like that? Something just clicked to me. This pastor is in Benue State. Although he alleges that there were about 40 of them. I mean, we talk about Benue State in the papers all the time. All that's happening. Who knows if all the insecurity, the farmers' headers clash is affecting people getting to churches, putting monies in churches. Do you understand? So the times that we're in now is not about just making money, expansion. We need pastors that are able to change the mindset of people. First of all, we need to think as one. We need to think about hard work. We need to think about, improving ourselves. So that is where we should redirect.
Let me take this call from Fortune. Fortune, are you there? Hello, Fortune.
Yeah, good morning.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay, this is a very important issue that has to do with a particular church, and in this case, the Winners Chapel. If I have to say anything, the much I have seen about your view is so that when there is an issue of public importance, the people involved are invited to come and say something. And so in this case, I would have expected a situation where one of the leaders of Winners Chapel or the people involved in this whole stuff should be invited to come and tell the world exactly what happened. I'm sure that a lot will be explained if that is done. And we will truly get a clearer picture of what is really involved. And
thank you, Fortune. The truth is that we don't necessarily have to force the church to defend itself. there's only so much, and when you invite someone, you can't force them to come to the show. You can only invite. And if they say, I don't want to come, you can't force anybody. Right. But the truth is that I don't necessarily think we want to try to get anybody to defend. We're not putting Winners Chapel on the focus. We're talking about churches, religious bodies in general. So we take it away from the issue and then bring out the problem and see if we can now have that conversation around the societal issue. Yes?
Yeah, so I was going to say that we should not shift responsibilities to people who are not meant to handle those responsibilities. The government has its prerogative, which is to create jobs for their people. The church is a place that serves as hope. Imagine if there were no churches today, and these people who are still hoping that God will help them in their businesses and their careers have nowhere to go to cry out for that hope. What will we become? So it's the church's prerogative, and it's very unfair to say that they should direct their focus. Most of the big churches I know have very big schools. They give out scholarships. The news does not capture all of this. During the COVID-19, some of them were taking their private jets to go donate COVID relief materials. They have foundations that they support people. They have children who are not able to attend schools but are very brilliant. They write exams. They give them scholarships. They follow them up to the university. We have a lot of members who are staff of that institution who work in their schools in different capacities. I have a family member who is a doctor. She's a professor of mathematics. She works there. It was the school that gave her employment. So if you have a good credential, you have done your best and you are good enough, you are employed to work. For quality education, fine. The education is quite expensive because the truth is if you want quality education, it would be expensive. But there are members who do not pay a dime, who qualify to attend those schools. So the churches are doing what they're supposed to do. Changing the focus of a place, first of all, lies on the leadership of that place. Then you put measures in place, you put policies to streamline those churches so that you can't be having churches, mushroom churches everywhere around. When you're sanctioned, when you're checked, you will reduce the amount of churches you will be bringing up. That is the job of the government, to put those policies and systems in place. Otherwise, you will not tell somebody how to run and give hope to the people.
Okay, let me take
I hear this argument. I just don't completely agree with it because many people would tell you that their foundation, many people that grew up with nothing, will tell you they grew up from nothing. Thank God for the village church and the village education that came from that. Thank God for the volunteers from church that made sure that community, they didn't get anything from government, but the church, the church community made sure that their children were educated. That's what we're saying. We understand what you are meant to do, but I feel that the church, when the church first came out, the church came out as we're here to help people spiritually to find God and also to build them, in education, in work. But to also compare and say, oh, they build schools. We are talking, when we are talking about those schools, we're talking about very expensive schools. Because she has brought into the conversation very expensive schools that even members of the church cannot afford. So those are things that, my own is that we need, let's tell ourselves the truth. This is the Nigeria we're in right now. There's no government. From above, there's no savior apart from us. We need to look at it. Sometimes, you know how you're in a family, you have a father. The father is meant to do this. Father is meant to... When the father does not show up, the mother will show up. The children will show up. So that is where we are now. We need to show up. Find a way to show up.
All right, let me take this call from Michael. Michael, are you there?
Yes, I am.
You're live. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I have a very short view about all this. It is some of these pastors, they are not equipped with enough knowledge to generate revenue. Some of them probably may have read a particular course, but they need the pastor to be an accountant. They need the pastor to be an engineer if there's a problem in the church. So if there's a way that they can be trained in such a way that they can manage funds, because managing funds is a different ball game. Sometimes you need some formal training to be an accountant, to be able to manage funds, to generate funds. So if they can have an administrative aspect in the church that can manage this, how funds are invested, how they are generated, then the pastor can be more focused in doing pastoral duties.
Thank you very much, Michael. Do we have some messages, Nima?
We do. We have messages. Christiana says, from the letter, it didn't sound to me like it was a money issue. However, I think that the pastor should have been disciplined and not sacked, they should have trained him into bearing the kind of fruits they want. On the other hand, for him coming to social media to blow, it means he has a character problem. I don't agree, though.
Can I just add? No, that's where I wanted us to go. You know, you had mentioned,
problem.
like, where should people in church, when they are grieved, where should they go? And I just wanted to say that that's such an important question, because many things happen in church, and a lot of people will just hear backbiting. And most of the things we hear, like for Pentecostal churches, is that the person goes on and opens his own church and almost waters down, that particular doctrine or something. But also, people have changed, have brought the spotlight on churches because they have spoken out. The Catholic Church, there used to be lots of talk about abuse of children in that place, and a lot of things were put shut down, hush hush, because it's a church matter. You are not allowed to speak about it. So sometimes when there are injustices happening, it does not matter where it is. We need to be able to speak up. I'm just saying, not this particular case, but just in the church. What we would like to do is let the church handle it. But if it's something that is so serious and so bad, please let us speak up.
So when you say speak up, I like us to, as we're coasting home now, we need to be very clear.
Yeah.
So we don't go to social media. We're saying that's a no-no. But where else do you go? So you call the church elders and say, I was sacked. What happened? And they have a meeting. Is there a way to address these kind of grievances within the church system? And even the Muslims,
legal system.
Yeah, you can go to court. Yes, so that man should have taken his matter to court.
If he was called by God, he would take it to God. But if he was appointed by a contract and he can be sacked, he would take it to court.
Exactly. So that man should. Thank you very much.
I would say that every church has its organization and their leaders. So, for instance, if something happens in your organization, you don't first of all go on social media to cry out. You call somebody, you go to maybe your supervisor, you go to your MD, you just speak and find ways to handle the issue. So there are church elders, there are people who sit in council, who attend to some of these issues. You could have just gone there to tell them this exactly is what is happening and find ways to, but bringing it out on social media is just like, they've done me, Abi, let me do them back. That's how it seems, yes. Because everything these days that happen, everybody just goes on social media. They don't want to hear me, Abi, let me do my own. Yes. Which media? Which media?
Okay, went to a newspaper.
I saw the video on social media.
Sometimes social media will now capture you in your backyard doing something.
So I think because it's a spiritual issue, I think...
You cannot be spiritual again.
Well, it's a contract.
We have to wrap up. But I like the way you had broken it down. Business, spirit, and politics together. There are three different arms of the religious bodies now. So there's a spiritual person. So if God called you and God ministered to the pastor to bring you as a pastor, and you're now ministering, he cannot sack you because he didn't bring you through a letter. But if you're employed as a business, as a church pastor, that you got an employment letter, these are your deliverables, you can be sacked. The political angle, I don't know what that one is, but
political angle. Sometimes you put a pastor and he's doing so well, you're afraid that he'll now come and be more popular than GO. Now send him to the village.
So that's the political angle. So if you fall in any of these angles, I mean, where do you have to take your grievances to? I don't know. If you're in the middle, go to court. If you're in the right hand, the one with God, go to God. Political, I don't know.
Political too.
Social media.
That's all we can take on the show, guys. Thank you, ladies. It's always a pleasure talking to you on this stuff. Have a lovely day. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.
We are StarTimes, the most affordable digital pay TV platform with the widest signal coverage in Nigeria, dedicated to bringing the best TV entertainment around the world to your screen. From Hollywood to Bollywood to Nollywood, we offer the most affordable subscription. Enjoy over 75 channels for as low as 1,700 naira, like Nat Geo Wild, BBC, ESPN, and premium sports like Emirates FA Cup. La Liga, Bundesliga, wrestling. What's more exciting? We have the most flexible payment options in Nigeria. Don't dull. Join us now for an exciting journey. StarTimes. Enjoy digital life.
The following is a paid presentation by ShopX TV.
Imagine replacing your entire cookware set with a collection of the finest pans designed and made of the highest quality craftsmanship. And imagine your entire cookware set built using Ceramtech, a new generation of healthy ceramic non-stick technology, meaning nothing will stick to your pan. ShopX TV is proud to introduce the